What's going on, everybody? It's Mark Akins, aka Mr. Challenge Your Perception. And I know y'all ain't seen me in a little while. We working out some different things, but everything's going great. We're keeping it rolling. This is another episode of Something for Your Sundays, brought to you by Gratifying Expressions. Here at Gratifying Expressions, we believe that everyone has the right to express themselves. Just make sure you do it in a way that others will be grateful that you did. So today, gonna just do a little something brief for you guys, but I missed you guys. I know you probably missed seeing me too, and you're gonna see more. Man, we got some good things cooking up, trust me. But what I wanted to do today, for those of you who have not made that jump to purchase my quote book here, 111 quotes to challenge your perception, preventative maintenance for your mind. This is for sale on Amazon.com. We're about to get these ebooks rolling this year. Of course, you know this is one of my few titles. There's Challenge Your Perception of Cold Calling, Don't Let Anxiety Hold Your Success Ransom, and there's also You Are Still a Blessing, the book that hugs you, which is hands down one of my favorites. I think it's something that everybody needs to read and hear. That may be the first one I put in audio book, just so that you can hear me telling it to you, because I mean it when I put it together. But what I want to do on some of these episodes, and what I'm planning on doing right now, is to pick a quote, and this is going to be quote 95 from this book. And I'm going to, each page has a quote and it has a perception and a tip. That's how I outlined it out. If you want to take a look right there. And so I'm going to do the quote with you guys, and then I'm going to do the perception and the tip, and we'll talk a little bit about it along the way. You ready? Obstacles and doubt will follow you while you chase your dreams. Run fast and do not look back. Can you imagine truly being chased by what you can 100% identify as being your biggest letdowns, fears, anxieties? If you could picture what that looks like, if there's one person in your life who does not believe in you, who has not believed in you, who you may even fear to let them know of what you plan on doing or pursuing because of their negative remarks and their negative feedback. Could you imagine if all you had to do to get to wherever you want to go in life is outrun them? They're behind you. All you got to do is outrun them. Could you imagine that? That embodiment may be what helps you visualize it, but in reality, doubt and obstacles are with every decision that you make. You know, if you're sitting here right now and you say, I gotta go to the bathroom, instantly it might be like, man, I'm gonna wait till commercial. You know, oh, is somebody in there? I don't feel like getting up. There's gonna be something immediately, you know. There's always gonna be an obstacle no matter what you do. But remember, it's called an obstacle course, not a stopping course. Those obstacles are put there on purpose just so you can prove how much and how fast you want to get to the finish line. Did you hear me? Because obstacle courses are timed, right? Sometimes you will see people racing them, but in the race, just like if you was being timed and you guys were doing it individually in a race, or if you're being timed individually, how fast you get it done makes the difference, right? And you might want to picture something's chasing you, even if it's just a competition, right? Even if it's just a competition, imagine if something's chasing you and something that you can beat though, right? But if you can beat all your obstacles, all your doubt, 100%. I know it, you can. But imagine if you stop, it'll catch up to you. It ain't got to beat you, it's going to get you, right? So again, the quote 95 out of the 111 quotes to challenge your perception. Obstacles and doubt will follow you while you chase your dreams. Run fast and do not look back. The perception I offer in this book, under the quote, it says, when trying something new, the odds that you will not do great are high. If you do not hesitate, you will get better sooner. The tip is trust yourself and your decisions. Again, this is coming out of 111 quotes to challenge your perception. So I want to dial in a little bit on when trying something new, the odds that you will not do great are high. If you've been following me, if you've been listening to anything I've been saying, we already know that, in my opinion, especially in my cold calling book, Challenge Your Perception of Cold Calling, right? I happen to have a copy of that right here. I'm out of my You're Still a Blessings, which is great. They're still available online, but usually when I run into people, I hand those out for free quicker than I hand out anything else. Um, I believe success is action. Failure is lack of success. I even found that definition. So depending on how you search and where you look, that was lack of success. And success is when you take action. Let me see. I believe I actually have it here. This is all live, right? No second takes. Keeping it real with you as much as possible. Okay, I got it right here. See, this is a good reason to pick up my books. Failure is lack of success. Success is the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. The good or bad outcome of an undertaking, right? And so, undertaking could be, the vow, the promise, the agreement, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to look at an undertaking, but the good or bad outcome, which equates to a result. Because if it's a good, bad, neutral, whatever, it's just a result. So success is when you get a result. So whether you get objections, no's, rejections, those are results. You can't get any results without taking action. That's why it makes sense to look at failure as the lack of success, because there's the absence of your failure in a way, right? When you think of failure, there's absence of failure. What did you fail at? What did you fail? Because if you truly tried, there's always learning in the loss. There's lessons to be learned in the loss. And that means that you're not a loser if you're able to pick up some type of information or intel for next time, right? You ever played a video game and you just go ahead and go full on in and you lose and you be like, oh man, next time I'm gonna go to the left. Next time I'm gonna go to the right. I heard a guy once say, I think this was Hermosi who said this, Alex Hermosi. He says, if people would treat life like their favorite video game, and he used an example of how he was playing a video game and he wanted to level up and get the best armor. So what he did was just kept found the vantage point, just stayed there, just kept playing the same level over and over again until he got all the points racked up. Well, it was the same thing with me on Grand Theft Auto 5, I think it was. And so um, I was trying to find the best way to make the money without being such a menace on that game and without, playing out these sinful acts so much. So, and you had to find what you were going to do. But if you wanted to get the money, it was a little bit less money to do things a certain type of way. And so you had to keep going and 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 going until you get your your money. And so there's a Bogdan. Now, if anybody watching this to play Grand Theft Auto 5, the Bogdan, the glitch, where you got somebody who will start the mission off and they'll go under the water and you kind of just wait on the shore and then they got to turn their game off before once you complete the mission before that cutscene is over and y'all can keep running it without setting it up again. Come on, somebody know what I'm talking about, or you ask a friend if you don't. So basically, all that to say, yes, when you start something new, I think the last thing you should be afraid of is what the outcome is going to be. Worry about starting. That's it. Just worry about starting. And don't be afraid of starting anything. You got to do it terrible before you could do it great. The first time you pick up a basketball and you shot it, come on. I wish I would have recorded the first time my son threw a football. He picked it up and went right back over his head. He picked it up, tried to throw it, and went right back over there. That's not the point here. When I started writing my first book, and I was hell bent on word count. And so this quick story, I was hell bent on word count. So what I did was I said, 10,000 words was going to be when I really celebrated, when I really felt like there's no turning back and I'm deep into my bag. And so here it is. I get to 10,000 words. And when I tell you I was just into it, I was into it. I had never even made paragraphs. I had never even made paragraphs. The whole 10,000 words was one block. just was going, going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And then I started reading through it, and I'm like, I'm half the time I wasn't even completing my thoughts, and about 3,000 words had to get deleted. Some celebration. And then even through then, when I first released it, there were still revisions and stuff that had to be done. So if you got a copy that says revised on that first page, that's what that's all about. That lets you know how much I care about who's receiving it. That I still went back and I actually revised it a couple times, but I want you to know for sure, like, you got a revised copy. That's why I put that on there, because when we really, really went through it, you might get a missing period or a comma, but this one's going to be a lot more sound clerically. I don't use any AI to correct or anything. I'm just using my typing program to check the spelling or whatever. No AI helps me with any of my books. Fourth book is on the way, y'all. Make sure y'all watch out for that. That will be dropping very soon. You're gonna love this one too. And the last part of the perception I want to go over: if you don't hesitate, you will get better sooner, right? So the quote was quote 95 out of 111 quotes to challenge your perception. All original quotes. All my quotes are original. Obstacles and doubt will follow you while you chase your dreams. Run fast and do not look back. When you're trying something new, the odds that you'll do great are high. The odds that you will not do great are high. All right, and maybe you will do great, right? Message. Maybe that was somebody need to hear that. If you do not hesitate, you will get better sooner, right? Because if if at first you don't succeed, try again. You're trying again because you're going to get better. So if you hurry up and fail, then you can hurry up and get it right. Don't wait. Don't hesitate, right? Trust yourself and your decisions. Make sure whatever you do, you're doing it in a way that others will be grateful that you expressed yourself that way. Don't do anything to destroy anybody else or set anybody else back on purpose. This has been Mark Akins with Challenge Your Perception. Um, well, we're trying to challenge our perception. This is Mark Akins with Gratifying Expressions, right? We're just doing one take on this. Gratifying Expressions, LLC. That's who's sponsoring us. That's my company at Gratifying Expressions. We feel everybody has the right to express themselves. Just do it in a way that others are grateful that you did. The more likes, the more comments, the more feedback I get, the more consistent I get with these. I dare you to drop them every week for like 24 weeks. Not a whole lot of feedback while it was going, but I'm seeing a lot of it pick up now. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my watchers. As long as there's consistent watchers, I'm gonna keep doing it regardless. But it's gonna get bigger and better. You see the intro changed up. You see the cover changed up a little bit. See the background changing up a little bit. Things is moving. Things is moving. Things are going different, right? So, any questions, CYP comments, or just leave them up under the comments right now. Like and subscribe. YesIamMark.com if you want to check out the website. We were revamping the social medias because I want to keep those directed in a certain way, a mainstream way. So if you were going to any of the Challenger Perceptions on TikTok, Instagram, you're not gonna find those. There will be no more Facebook. There will never be another Facebook account. But we will get something going company wise for um, Instagram and TikTok, and we're gonna keep this YouTube going. It's likely you won't see us on Twitter. If you do, that might not be us. We may or may not. I don't really like what Twitter has turned into, what X has turned into. Shout out to Elon Musk, But you guys have a great day. Always remember, your first mind deserves to be challenged.